All right. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for
Hey.
tuning in to another episode of LearnBiz The Podcast. I am Sandy B, and I'm here with the always lovely Lisa K. Crawford. Hey, Lisa.
Hey, lovely Sandy B, or should I say bonjour?
Bonjour. Look, I am recording live to you directly from Paris, so it is really a true. It's just weird. Lisa was like, "I don't think Sandy gonna be up. She gonna be eating croissants and stuffing her face with some baguettes." But y'all, I'm here. I got Wi-Fi, so you already know. Once you got Wi-Fi, you got everything you need.
Right. We missed you guys yesterday. We normally are here on Tuesdays and Fridays, but yesterday, I think it was a traveling day for you.
Look, funny enough, yesterday wasn't even the travel day. So I traveled on Monday evening to arrive here in Paris on Tuesday morning. But little did I know the transition between the airport and getting to our Airbnb was going to be a whole day. By the time I got back, it was just like my laptop was tripping, everybody was tripping. I couldn't get the Wi-Fi to work.
Oh,
Today
wow.
we good. Today we
Yes.
good.
Well, happy to be here. So, we have a few topics for you today. Sandy's going to go ahead and kick us off with our first topic.
So I am very, very saddened by this story, and it gave me a little stress the other day. So comedian, writer, I mean, just all around family guy, David A. Arnold, suddenly passed away. I believe it was on September 7th, because I heard the story probably like the next day. And it's funny because I learned about David A. Arnold through his Netflix special called I think it's called Fat Ballerina or something like that. And I also used to see some of his stuff in the YouTube space and on Instagram. Really, really, truly funny guy. Come to find out, he's not just your average comedian. I mean, he's written for others. He also is one of the executives that did the storyline for this show called That Girl Lele on Nickelodeon.
Hmm.
Um,
Talented.
he's connected to some of the greats in terms of his writing, and
Hmm.
he's definitely a funny guy. I mean, his comedy special had me rolling. So it's just so sad. He left behind a wife. He left behind two girls, his daughters. Um, Really great spirit. And I just was thrown because I was just like, he was really getting started. He just started a comedy tour that he was right in the midst of,
Hmm.
and it was just like, this man just up and died, y'all. He just up and
Wow.
died. And I was, whenever you hear of people dying at these young ages in their 40s and 50s, and you're in your 40s and 50s, like you start
Hmm.
to think
Oh
about your
yeah.
own life in a different way. Good
Right.
morning, Doug. Good morning.
Good
Shout out to you.
morning. Shout out to Doug this morning. Yeah.
But it just really hurt my spirit to, hear that he just got his groove going. He was about to go across the country on his tour. He had just recorded his next Netflix special um, in his hometown of, I believe, Cleveland, Ohio, if I'm not mistaken, Lisa. I hope
Oh
I'm correct in
wow.
saying that. But we have a little clip, so I guess we'll play that. But my heart goes out to his wife and his girls. Very beautiful spirit. To hear other comedians talk about him, just it kind of threw me.
Ooh.
And I just kept thinking about us as entrepreneurs, and when we're trying to make it, we're trying to get to a point, and many times, we don't win the battle. We kind of folks work so hard, but we don't realize sometimes how our health can take a toll. I don't know exactly what happened to him because, to my understanding, he was working out. He was, trying to eat right and do his thing. But there's always a storyline, and let me stop getting long-winded. But
Yeah.
it really, really did affect me.
Yeah. It is something to think about how life can interrupt your planning and the things that you have going on. I mean, just bad things. So
Yeah,
hopefully we have this such that we can go ahead and take a look at more about David Arnold here. So he had just released his second stand-up comedy special on Netflix, and
yeah,
this clip we're showing is from September 3rd this year.
When you have an opinion in your family that is
Volume.
not popular,
I'm not hearing
Eventually, you have
volume.
to let it go.
I
Because
can
no
hear
matter,
it.
Oh, you can?
they will
Yeah, I can
eventually
hear it.
blame it on
Okay,
you.
hold on for a second. Can you
Because
still
my
hear?
point is, we don't
Yes.
quit. We finish what we start. We push through no matter what. I think that's a pretty good lesson. But they've turned it into your energy is bad, Daddy. It's bringing down the house.
Okay, David A. Arnold has been comedy's
All
best kept
right.
secret
So I think I'm
until
gonna
now.
just
That
go
is
ahead
this
and stop it
20-year.
there. I'm not exactly. I couldn't hear, but here's more of the little article on him from September 8th. Just basically going over the things that Sandy just stated. That it says here that he passed away peacefully in his home, and doctors have ruled the cause of death due to natural causes. So there you go. And this happened obviously right before his next his second Netflix stand-up special. It ain't for the week. Oh, it actually did debut. It debuted in July. So he did
Yeah,
get a chance to do that one. Okay. All righty.
yeah.
So let me come back to us.
But yeah, he was literally just in the middle of a tour. He was set to tour across the country in different spots, and I'm just like I'm blown. When I look at his information and the things that he's done. I mean, he's affiliated with Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart backed his most recent comedy special. If I look at some things that he's worked on, and I'm just kind of pulling up a few things, but if you look at some of the things that he's worked on, he's been in the mix. And Cleveland, Ohio, is his birthplace. Um,
Wow. Yay.
and it's so funny that people are really just starting to learn about who David Arnold was, because as I
Yes.
said, he wasn't somebody that was in the forefront in terms of just being out there, but he was a writer, producer, he was an actor. As I said, he was married, he had two children.
Wow. Just
In
talented.
terms
Ooh.
looking at his career, he
Mm.
performed in different comedy festivals. He's done a lot of work with folks like Jamie Foxx, Cedric the Entertainer, Tom Joyner Show, Based in After Dark, Comics Unleashed, Byron
Wow.
Allen Comic View, The Monique Show, Entourage. Um, in terms of his writing and producing, he's done the Netflix revival series Fuller House. He wrote episodes of several comedy shows, including Bigger on BET Plus, Meet the
Mm.
Browns, The Ricky Smiley Show on TV One, Raising Whitley on OWN, Tyler Perry's House of Pain, the Tony Rock Project on the My Network TV.
Wow.
Um,
Wow.
I mean, the list goes on. So definitely, I advise you, check out his Netflix special, Fat Ballerina, and check out the recent drop, which is It Ain't for the Week. And I imagine, I think he had performed the weekend before he passed or something in one of these cities. I don't remember. So I'm not sure if they have footage from that, but I'm imagining somebody else is going to put some things out. But check him out on YouTube, check him out on Instagram. He used to do a lot of funny stuff about his family, but I'll leave it at that. I won't do too much here, but
Yeah, that's great. And the one thing that this brings to mind as business folks out here working as entrepreneurs is that we have to be mindful of the necessity for planning. We
yeah,
don't never know. We never know when a situation like this can happen, of course, but we can anticipate that we are going to leave here, and we can plan to make sure that we leave some type of legacy for
right,
our families. And that's the one thing that we can do, and that we hope that everybody will have at least the time or take the time to do that well before, we leave here. And so, since we never know when, I say the earlier the better. When you think about it, do it. Do
yeah.
estate planning. Yes.
So rest in peace, David A.
Yeah.
Arnold. You definitely will be missed, and I'm sure that people are going to learn way more about you after your passing and really come to appreciate the person that you are and your contributions to comedy. Whew.
Yes.
All right.
All right. Rest in peace. Man,
Let's
sorry to hear about that.
Yeah, that's a loss for sure. Um, let's shift gears a little bit. This is not sad news, but it's just what in the world? Um,
Always
I, I'm
always something out here, Sandy.
So I've been, hearing bits and pieces of Neo and this divorce that is in the process. And, you know, I really, really hate when these stories hit social media because it seems that we just can't just keep our personal business anymore. Um, so Neo's estranged wife, Crystal Smith, filed for divorce last month after 6 years of marriage, but the singer apparently isn't interested in supporting her financially. Now,
Hmm.
since the initial announcement of this divorce, apparently his estranged wife posted some very inflammatory things on social media, and I was just like, oh boy. And then he responded, and I was like, oh boy. And then it just kept going back and forth and back and forth. Um, I just don't understand it. According to court documents obtained by Radar Online, Neo said she'd been formally unemployed at times during the marriage and claimed her earnings potential has been, and that she's benefited significantly due to her personal association with him and his career. Therefore, he didn't see any reason why she shouldn't seek employment to support herself and pay her own legal fees. I'm like, well, damn, Neo, I thought this was the love of your life.
Wait, no, this was the Neo who made the song. She got her own thing. That's why I love her. So you already know how Neo feels, right?
He loves Miss Independent, so guess what? We can't be surprised, and you know, um, it's very disheartening because when he got married to her, I remember a lot of stories about how they got together while he was. It sounded like they got together while he was still with his previous wife.
Oh boy.
And there was a whole shenanigan, and you know how people always say, you lose them how you got them kind of thing. And if you were embroiled in some kind of affair, at the beginning
Scandal.
of, it's no surprise when you get to this point. But a lot of the trash throwing in the media has been her talking about some of his activities and him talking about her in this particular way. It's just unfortunate, and
It
I
is
start to.
unfortunate because that he's acknowledging that she has a brand. He obviously has a brand, and both of their brands are worth protecting. If that's what they intend to, earn future income with is their image, their brand, and that type of thing, then why are they destroying each other in the media? And that is the real question. Like, you are aren't you supposed to at least protect your business even if you have personal issues? Aren't you supposed to keep those things so they don't spill out into the streets, so to speak, because you still have an image to protect? And both of
Well,
them should know better, and there should not be this much dirt in divorce.
Well,
There
well,
shouldn't
Miss
be.
Miss Crystal was like, she went and filed divorce on August 1st amid allegations that he fathered a child with another woman, saying their marriage is irretrievably broken with no hope for reconciliation. So you already know Miss Crystal was sour because she's thinking homeboy has a child with somebody else. So all common sense and logic goes right on out the
Out the
door,
window. Got
all
it.
brand, all caring. And they have three children together.
Oh
Um,
wow. I mean, I can understand the hurt, but the thing is that she is going, and I'm thinking they're young children. They have three
uh,
younger children.
I think so. I don't see a reference to the ages, but I mean, they were married, what was it, in 20, oh, I
You
don't
said
see what
you
year.
said a 6 year marriage, right?
It sounded like it was.
So I don't know if maybe they had children pre-marriage or what have you, but it sounds like they're other than that, they might be all younger children. And if
Yeah,
that's the case, she still has to be smart enough to say, hey, I'm going to need to rely on this man for child support, possibly for alimony. And
yeah.
while he's not good for me, I'm not going to denigrate his brand and image because guess what? That may ultimately hurt me. Think about that. We got to be
Look,
smart.
Doug says, wow. And I'm like, yeah, this is a big wow because there's two things that play in my mind. One is Neo's image as the R&B artist, right? We don't tend to associate R&B with like these scandalous stories, right? We usually think of rappers and other entertainment industry folks. That's one. Number two, it's, the way that Neo is speaking about this, it's like, look, she can sustain, like she's got enough of things that she can do, that she can make bread. And he's objecting to all of this. He's like, look, she's trying to get custody. He's like, nah, I want custody too. I want full, I want us to have joint.
Well, that
And
in Florida, that would happen. I mean, Florida is a state that basically looks to shared custody first, before anything else. And a lot of jurisdictions are like that. So a lot of states have taken the fight out of that between parents for joint custody, because they give them those equal statuses generally in the beginning, unless you can show why that shouldn't be the case. So Neo's not going to be fighting long in that department. As long as he's fit, as long as she's fit, they can both parent together, but in separate households.
Now, I don't know what the laws are in Georgia in terms of divorce, but, I think when they split initially, it looks like in July, she started airing out her grievances on Instagram, and she claimed Neo was still cheating on her and was ready to end the relationship. And she's like, 8 years of lies and deception, 8 years of unknowingly sharing my life and husband with numerous women who sell their bodies to him unprotected. Every last one of them. To say I'm heartbroken and disgusted is an understatement. So this very much sounds like, she's heard about it. She's going through whatever emotions, but unfortunately, I guess there's nobody around to snatch her and say, ma'am, this is not for the social media space.
Yeah, Sandy, I'm so sorry. Please indulge me 1 second. This brings up another thought. Therapy. Get a therapist.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Get a therapist. If you need to talk with someone, this is probably the pinnacle of the situation for her. She probably has been aware of this over time and just reached her maximum point and said, no more, I'm not taking it anymore. But get a therapist. And that's what people need to do, even business people. We have issues. We have issues at home. Some people don't want to deal with their issues at home, and they just work themselves into oblivion. And they just work, because it's better to work for some of us than to deal with our issues at home, which means that's another thing that should be a sign that you might need to get some help. And in this case, it looks like she needed some help.
Yeah, I mean, every time I read little bits and pieces from the storyline, it just reminds me of, how hurt people try to hurt people. And it also reminds me that many times, we think people are living fairy tale lives and they're going through all of these great things, but we never really know what's going on behind the scenes. And it's very important for us to keep that in mind when we look to people to idolize them, or look to people to say relationship goals or entrepreneur goals. A lot of times we look at other entrepreneurs and we think, oh man, they must have it all together. Well, we're only showing you the outside experience, right? You don't get to see the inner workings of what really is going on. And, these stories are always, to me, a reminder. So if I take any lessons from this story, and even going back to the story about David A. Arnold, it's that, we have to be realistic in the way that we approach our imagery and our branding, and not get wrapped up in this idea that everything is just, flashing lights and, flair, and everything's wonderful and rosy. No, entrepreneurship is hard. Entrepreneurship is challenging. Entrepreneurship is making a way when sometimes there is no way, or, figuring out when sometimes we don't even know where to look. And, not to compare the situations, but yesterday we had, it was a crazy day. So Lisa and I had to be like, all right, we're just going to film tomorrow. How about that? We could do that. But, it's being prepared for those moments, because you can really lose it. And especially when it comes to social media, imagine, you have a argument with your partner, your significant other, and you decide you're going to share every detail that you get upset with your partner about on social media. That's forever. That doesn't go away. Because first of all, if you got a Neo and you're talking about him, that's all over. So even if you decide to later delete that message, that is ingrained in that social media. You're not going to be able to take that back. And I think the unfortunate part in this case is what you just said, Lisa. She may have had wind of these issues and she was aware of some of these things going on and she just had her fill. But you don't get to play this now. It's not something that you should be doing, is airing out your stuff, because it's not hurting.
Children.
It doesn't just hurt him, it hurts your children, it hurts your family. Here's something that Doug says. He said, I saw a YouTube couple destroy their reputation during the breakup, both knowing the father rely on a YouTube check. He went from getting thousands of live viewers to now can barely get 50 watchers. And this is another thing. We sometimes respond out of emotion in this social media space, not recognizing that, well, if I'm trying to get money out of Neil and support out of Neil, what happens if he has nothing? I'm getting nothing, right? If I cause him to lose it all, then I lose all.
Like, it reminds me of a song called "Nothing from Nothing Leaves Nothing." Gotta have something. Anyway, yeah, I digress, but you got me. Yeah.
I got to take this off the screen. I can't even be looking at them no more.
Yeah,
but
it's just too much. It's too much.
It's a never-ending battle, and I always think to myself, where are we going when we think that social media is our therapist, or that social media is the avenue for us to discuss all things that are happening in our lives? Like, why do we feel that way?
But it's so tempting. And I know we have to get off soon, but I just want to say it's so tempting to vent on social media. It's so tempting. Social media is not your therapist friend, everyone. I've had to even tell myself that sometimes, like, why are you out here? And you know when you're venting, and you're like, why? Who am I telling? Who really cares? Come on, guys, think about it. It makes us feel good, like somebody just hurt us. But in actuality, we need therapy.
Look, that's cray. That's what I call it. It is cray. We need to cut it out. We need to stop pressing those buttons. But it also brings back another thought too, is, sometimes people are okay when all things are great and they want to post and post and post. And then when things go sour, instead of thinking about, we think about what we post when we want to post great things and beautiful images. Why not start to really step back and say, am I emotional about this right now? And is that why I'm posting it? Or am I making a conscious decision to post it?
Yes.
Because for me, even when I post certain things, you'll notice there's a certain way that I do it, because I don't like when people idolize things that are being done. I don't like when people feel, oh man, look what she thinks she don't. I like when people can appreciate the aesthetic, right? If I'm posting something, I want you to feel something. I want you to appreciate something. I don't want you to be like, oh, who she thinks she is. Oh, she doing. I'm like, because I hate that, because that's not the point. The point initially for this social media was like a sharing with friends and family, but it's become like this competition to, I could easily, Lisa, go downstairs, stand in front of some fancy cars, step into a hotel and stand in front of something fancy and just show all these images like, oh, I got it going on. I'm doing all this stuff. Why? Ain't no going on. I show you my background. This is where I'm at. There's some walls and there's, a bed to sleep in and some food to eat. Right? I got a little view. I can see outside, but I'm not looking over at the Eiffel Tower or nothing. Like, it's, we got to stop doing this stuff. And I think we're okay with it as long as it's beneficial and it feels good. But then when it's hurtful, we don't think about the things that we're posting, and I really wish we would step back and say, is this post worthy? Or is this me venting? And I might need to call my girlfriend or my guy friend and say, hey, I'm upset. Let's talk about this.
Or sometimes I've done this. I posted something like it's a venting session because I'm guilty of it. Yeah. And then I will just put it in draft form. And even that makes me, I feel so much better. And then eventually I just go and delete it. But, it's the same thing as just taking pen to paper. The old-fashioned way would be to take pen to paper, to get your diary, to get your journal, and just write.
Yeah.
And that's been a good thing for many people over the years. It's just journaling. And maybe that's something I need to think about getting back to, actually.
Yes, I need Miss Crystal to get herself a journal, call her girlfriends, call her family members, because I'm not going to say that you're wrong for feeling the way you feel.
Right.
I'm going to say that you're wrong for using social media as a way to express that, because it's not just you it's not just him that you're going to hurt. You're hurting your kids. You're hurting his brand and his reputation. You're hurting your brand and your reputation, because it says some things about, whatever imagery you were putting out there. Then it's like, oh, she was doing it. She already knew what time of, people are going to react to you in a certain way. Doug says reality shows have warped people's mentalities. Doug, like 1000%. And how many times do we hear a story about a reality show person, and it's like, oh, they were renting, that big fancy house, or, those cars were leased, or, they got all this stuff done, or they got all the, it's not reality.
Right.
They don't
funny
just
thing
wake
is,
up.
reality shows are not reality, like you just said. They're just really not reality. It's put on. It's put on. So we can't live our lives on social media like we're reality stars, because it's really not the real world, and there's going to be a lot of backlash. And most of us don't need it when we're still trying to make it. There's real life is real life. You might be a celebrity and that type of thing. That doesn't mean you're making the same level of dough throughout the continuity of your existence. There's highs and lows, and people got to protect themselves. Don't hurt yourself. Protect yourself. So I think we said it all.
to solidify the reality story, they lied to us, y'all. They lied to us. The baguettes, the croissants, they lied to us. Whatever we eat in the United States is not the same. That's all I want to say to close this out.
I think you're so right about that. I cannot wait to check out some croissants in Paris.
Let me tell you, if I can stuff a few in some Ziploc bags before I leave, I will be sure to bring you a couple. That's what I'm going to do.
Oh boy. I have to get over to the patisserie to check out the croissants.
Girl, my high school and college friend really kicked in with my Google Translate, so we're about to get it on.
I know. So I can only say a few things like bonjour. How do you say have a good day? How do I say that?
I think it's some passe bonne journée or something. Passe bonne journée.
Passe bonne journée. Yeah, that one. I will say that to you. Have a wonderful day. I will say bonjour. I would say au revoir.
Yeah.
And oh my God,
all that.
And eat, manger bien, right? Eat well.
Girl, I'm gonna be manging a lot of international foods. I've noticed it's so weird here because there is a restaurant everywhere. So if I go downstairs right now, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's about 10 restaurants within me just stepping out of the building. I don't know how they function this way, but none of them are French restaurants, by the way. It's very, very weird. I would have expected more French cuisine, like really locally, but it's all Chinese, Vietnamese, Venezuelan, some other Asian, Korean barbecue, African, Korean, something else. Yeah, it's a lot of different stuff. But
sound like you over there with We Are the World, girl.
We definitely are the world here.
We are the world.
But guys, please be sure to subscribe to our channel. Please click like on this video. Give us some comments if you have any. And don't hesitate to take a look back at some of our videos. I'm going to be here for a minute, but we still going to be getting up on here. So we will see you guys again on Friday, and look forward to chatting with you guys about some new upcoming stories as well. Shout out to you, Doug. We always appreciate your support.
Thank you, Doug.
And whoever else is watching, somebody else is watching, but I don't know who it is. I can't see. Thank you guys so much, and have a great, great day.
See you guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.